go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be going through the packaging and sales order process, including transfers. So let's go ahead and check the agenda. So we're going to start by creating a couple packages from a harvest that we have in the system. So this is, the harvest has come out of the dry room, and now we're starting to split it up into its sellable products, sellable packages. So that includes flour, trim, sugar leaf, things like that. In addition to that, we'll talk through the process of splitting packages. So that is to say, taking a quantity from an existing bulk package and creating a new package from that. We'll also touch on printing package labels, including our new custom label functionality. We'll go in depth on those labels in that process. After that, we'll touch on creating new customers from prospective to current, and then go through the sales order process, including allocation, invoicing, and then transfers at the end. Okay, so first we'll start by creating a package from an existing harvest. So I've already got a harvest created. It's been in, let's pretend it's been in the dry room for a certain amount of time, and we're ready to start creating those sellable packages. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is go to our packages module. So packages and active. And from here, I can go to actions and create a package. So there's a couple options here from an untracked item. So this is if you are getting your package inventory into Canix for the first time, you would utilize that. For the most part, though, you're going to be creating packages from a harvest. So that's what we'll do here. So I'll click from harvest. And you can see the new package tag that's going to populate automatically based on the last tag that was used. So in this case, we're going to have 0056 for this package. And the harvest that I'm going to use is our Dream Queen 216. So what we're indicating here is, so we have a total wet weight from this harvest. And as we create packages, whether it's bulk flour or bulk trim or sugar leaf, that's going to deduct from that total weight of that harvest. And that's what we're indicating here is we're taking this weight from this existing harvest, from that total weight. So for the item, I can go ahead and use the search function here to search for some Dream Queen bulk flour. Perfect. Location is an optional field for inventory, for packages. I recommend utilizing it. It's always easier, you have an idea of where your inventory is physically in your facility. And this location dropdown indicating that with the package is going to help you locate and identify those packages a lot faster. So we'll go ahead and put this in area 51. The packaging date is going to default to today's date. And let's go ahead and set this to grams. And let's go ahead and pull off 2,000 grams in this package. So typically, the way that this would work is you would take your entire bulk flour weight and put that into one bulk package. And then at that point, you have your bulk package. And as you sell it, as you start creating new packages from that, as you start taking off quantities to sell on invoices or move to a different location, then that's going to deduct from that total. We can also create a testing package from here. So in this case, we're just going to create a bulk. But in addition to this, you could also take a smaller testing package from this harvest and mark it as a testing package. So that way you can transfer it to the lab at a later date. Cool. So we'll go ahead and create that. All right. So let's go ahead and search for that package. You can either search by the tag number or by the item type itself. So let's search by the item type. Perfect. Okay. So here is our Dream Queen bulk flour that we just created. So that's tag 0056. And from here, there's a few things that we can do with this package at this point. Now that we have our package, So obviously we want to print off a label for that package, so we can go over that process. In addition to that, we can also split off from this package and also adjust it if we need to. So in some cases, for example, like with this bulk flour, we have 2,000 grams. Maybe somebody was a little clumsy. They were taking a quantity out to make a new package, and some fell on the ground. Now, in that case, you would need to throw that away. It's become contaminated. So if we need to adjust this package, adjust the weight of the package so that way it reflects the physical weight, we can go to Actions here and adjust packages. And what we're indicating here again is we're going to indicate the new weight after we get rid of whatever, make whatever adjustment we need to. So in this case, we could just say unusable product, fell on the ground. And we're going to apply each of those to this package. And in this case, what we're going to enter here is the new weight of this inventory. So let's just say, there's only a few grams. So we're left with 1,995 grams in this package. So go ahead and save that and then submit. Perfect. So you can see the new quantity is reflected here, and we're ready to move on to the next step. So because we have, again, we created a new package, and now we need to physically identify that package. So that way someone else comes in and they need to create a new package or put it on a sales order, they'll be able to see exactly what it is by using that physical tag. So by selecting, first we're going to select the item itself. Then we can select this print label 0056. And that's going to open up a new tab that brings us to our custom label, a new custom labels function. So first things first, you can see that we have a template drop down here. So these are all custom made templates, user made templates. So these, you're going to start out with 0 templates and you can start creating your own. And the way that it works is you can either choose to use a template or start creating your own. So in this case, we can say tag type is package. So because we're going to be printing a package tag. We also have plant and plant batch options here. So the difference between these is obviously there's going to be different data points for each of those tag types. So plant batches, packages. So that's why we've split those out. So you can see strain name, flowering date, vegetative date. Those aren't data points that are relevant for a package. So we've split those out. And you can see the package has quite a few on here as well. So QR code, production batch, package date. So we can customize these labels however we want. So whatever data that we want to see within our operation on these labels, we can indicate that here. So a few kind of defaults that are recommended: weight, item name, barcodes for actually scanning the barcode, tag number. You can also enter in package date, enter in terpenes, the harvest that they came from, the address and facility license. In addition to these data points that you can add to the product, to the label, you can also customize the size of the label to fit your printer. So let's make this a little bit bigger so we can fit some more data on here. Perfect. And that gives us, again, a little bit more room. And you can see as I start adding things, it's getting kind of congested. So in that case, what we can do is move each of these elements around and customize them to exactly how we want these labels to be formatted. In addition to that, we can also resize. So if I choose the barcode here, I can go ahead and increase the width. And rearrange it. And I can also move over, again, any element that's on the label, you can reorganize to exactly your specifications. So if this had a production batch and you wanted that to be reflected on the label, it would show up here. QR codes, strain name as well, we can add that. Again, lots of customization options. In addition to making these elements wider, You can also increase and decrease the size to fit even more information on these labels. Again, depending on what your specifications are for these labels, this template that you're creating. So once we have all the information that we want, what we can do here is save a new template. So what this means is you save the template, and next time you come in to print a label, you select that template from the dropdown, enter in the package number, and you can also go up and enter, create multiple tags in sequence from this 056. If I were to add 3, then it's going to go up. It's going to print labels 056 through 058 with their respective information. So obviously not each of those is going to be Dream Queen bulk flour, but each one will print with its own individual information: production batch, strain, item, package date, everything that's unique to that specific package will be printed on the label in that format from this template. Cool. So let's go ahead and create this template. And we can save that. You can see now, once I refresh the page, we'll be able to see that template in the dropdown. And you can create as many of these templates as you want. So this is relevant, again, for plants, plant batches, packages. In some cases, you may have a bulk package label and a unit label for packages. So that is your bulk package, and then you split it off into maybe 1 pound, quarter-pound increments. You can create a separate template, a separate label for those increments with specific detailed information that's relevant for those packages. All right. Perfect. So from here, let's go ahead and back up and go back to our packages screen. So we went through creating the packages from Harvest, adjusting packages if needed, and also printing labels for packages. In addition to that, there's a couple other functions here. So specifically splitting packages. So again, as I was saying before, anytime that you take a quantity, whether it's grams, depending on the unit of measure of the package, anytime you take a quantity off of an existing package, you're creating a new package. So in this example, you can see we have our source package 056, which we created earlier. We have a total of 1,995 grams in that package. And now for this new package, we're going to start at the next available tag, so 059 in this case. And we can select what package we want to create. So this could be the same item type. So we could just create another smaller package of Dream Queen bulk flour, or we could create if you have, individual units of pounds that you like to track, or quarter pounds, you can create that item. So Dream Queen quarter pound, Dream Queen pound. And in that case, you can split that off and create a new item, a new package using that item name. So in this case, we'll just create a smaller package of Dream Queen bulk flour. We can add in a production batch, testing package if we need to. And let's just say we're creating a 100-gram package. So all I need to do is enter the package weight. And you can see an overview here. I'm taking 100 grams from our source package and creating a new package of 100 grams. Now, if you wanted to do multiple of those same 100-gram packages, you could set your package number to 3. And you can see we're creating 3 separate packages of 100 grams each. So we'll go ahead and update that. And you can see once I have that total weight of this new package entered, it's going to give me a breakdown of my remaining weight from my source package. So in this case, 1895, since I'm taking 100 grams off of it. Perfect. So let's go ahead and submit that. And now you can see we have our 4th package of 100 grams of that Dream Queen bulk flour. And then with that as well, you can see in our source package column, you can see the original package that this 100 grams came from. A couple other things, just general kind of usability of the platform. Within each of the modules, whether it's plants, packages, customers, anywhere we have the columns here, you can change the column headers. You can rearrange them to your preference. So whatever data is relevant to you, you can move those over. You can also get rid of specific columns if you need to. Again, columns that may not be relevant, you can get rid of those just to clean up your version of the platform a little bit. Perfect. So from here, now that we have some packages of this Dream Cream bulk flour, we can go ahead and sell. We can go ahead and start creating an invoice and a transfer. Now, before we get into selling the product, we need to make sure that we have a customer to sell it to. So we'll start by going into our sales module here on the left under customers, and we'll start at Prospective. So Prospective customers are customers that you have not had contact with yet, or that are potential customers, essentially. And what this list is all of the registered licenses in Oklahoma. So you can use this to search for, customers you've spoken with in the past, customers you already have a relationship with, and again, potential customers. And this is where we're going to start with creating a new customer. So again, you could search by company name, by license number, contact name, email, all kinds of different ways to search for specific customers. So in this case, let's scroll down. Let's find a dispensary. Let's go ahead and use One Peak Partners. So the first step in turning this into a current customer, we'll go ahead and select them and click Promote. And at this point, we have an opportunity to update any information that we have about this customer. In some cases, they may not have contact info here, or the contact name associated with the license is not the same contact that you actually speak with to sell product to. So you can update this information before you turn them into a customer, just so you have the most up-to-date information for their customer profile. Cool. So we can fill out any other information we need here: address information, website URL, notes. You can also assign specific sales reps from within your organization to specific customers. So you just do that by selecting the sales rep from the drop down there. And let's go ahead and click Create. So once I create that customer, they're going to move into my current customers list, and I can start creating invoices and selling to this customer. So you can see One Peak Partners here, all their information. And if you ever need to, you can come in and update their information. Maybe the address is incorrect, you need to update that, or update the contact information. You can always come in here to your current customers list and update that information as needed. Now, for the example I'm going to use for sales, we're going to use an existing customer that we have sales for, so that we can show you what the customer profile looks like when it's filled out. So this is helpful because as you start using Canix for invoicing, those orders are going to live within the customer's profile here. So we can open their profile and see the total sales that we have for this customer, as well as their outstanding balance. In addition to that, you can see all of their previous orders. So you can see this order was created on February 17th, total $2,800. And it looks like she's paid everything related to this invoice. So there's no outstanding balance for this specific invoice. In addition to that, you can also click into the transfer manifest that was sent that's associated with this invoice. So creating the invoice, send it to the customer, they approve it, then you actually package up the product and then ship it to them, whether that's them picking it up with their transportation license or you using your own driver, your own vehicle to deliver that product. And that's what we'll go through next. So this is just for reference. Again, we're seeing previous orders and previous transfers associated with a specific customer. Also, in their customer profile, you can also add specific files related to this customer. So maybe this is a PDF file of their license that you have a copy of for your records, or maybe it's previous invoices, right? It could be anything, any files related to this customer that you want to keep in one place, you can upload those here. Okay, So now that we have, so we've got Emily here, let's go ahead and create an order for Emily. So the next step is we'll go into sales orders in active. And now we'll, in this screen, you can see all of our previous orders for all customers. For all customers here. And you can see the order numbers, the sales reps associated with them, the manifest numbers, also payment due dates, outstanding balances, along with something helpful here with these outstanding balances. So as the outstanding balance is greater or it's high, it's going to be red. Once it gets a little bit closer to 0, it's going to be orange and then eventually turn black once it's at 0, which is helpful. So in addition to that, now that we have, we can see all of our previous sales orders here, along with their respective statuses, created, shipped. We can go ahead and create an order. All right. So the first step here is going to be to select the customer. So in this case, we'll go ahead and select Emily as our customer. So once I select that, you can see, again, the information that we saw before. We can see each of her license number, the address, any credits associated with that. And the next step is going to be to search for products. So we can go ahead and use the Dream Queen bulk flower we had before. So I can search either by name. Yep, I can search by name here. And you can see I have a total of 6,000 grams available to sell. So what this means, this 6,062 grams available, this is not necessarily how many grams I have in my inventory. This is how many grams I have available to sell, which is to say there could be another sales order, another couple sales orders with a quantity of this specific product in that sales order, which is to say that it's promised for another customer because it's part of an invoice, part of another sales order. So again, this may not reflect my actual inventory that has not left my facility, but it's reflecting what's already been promised to another customer. So let me show you what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new tab here, and I'm going to take a look at our inventory availability report. So I'm going to come under here under inventory and availability. And what this screen is going to show us, yep, so I've already got it filtered on Dream Queen. So the Dream Queen bulk flower. And if you need to see this in grams rather than pounds, you can update the display units here in the top right. All right. So in some cases, maybe this isn't a great example. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. As I was saying before, the total you have in your inventory may not be the same as the total you have available. So in this case, let's use this 001 as an example. So I have a total of 2,300 grams in my inventory, but I only have 2,200 available. And that's because I've got 102 associated with the sales order already that has not been shipped out. The packages have not been allocated to the order, and the transfer has not been created, and the product has not been shipped out. The same goes for the 007. You can see I've got 771 associated with an order, and I've also got 16 allocated. So that means from my total, basically what this available is indicating is the ordered and allocated added together and then subtracted from the total to get our available. So let's go back over to our sales order. So again, we've got the 6,000 available here. And let's go ahead and change this to pounds. And anytime you update the unit of measure here, it's also going to update the unit of measure to show you what's available in that same unit of measure. So in this case, let's say I'm selling a pound for 1,400. And let's say we're going to sell 2 pounds. So at this point, again, this is me creating the invoice, not necessarily allocating the packages. So we'll go ahead and fill out the rest of the invoice. So delivery date, we can add any internal notes. So this is our notes that you want to communicate to somebody else within your organization. It's not going to show up in the invoice. The customer will see it. We can also assign the sales rep, which this is going to auto-populate. So if we have a sales representative associated with our customer, that's going to auto-populate for the invoice. We can set the payment terms. Typically going to be cash on delivery. If you are doing a net 7 or net 14, the due date for the invoice is going to populate based on the delivery date and the payment term that's selected. So in this case, let's keep it simple. Leave it as cash on delivery. In addition, you can add any discounts or delivery fees that you want to here on the right, and those will show up in the invoice as well. And so I can continue adding products here if I want to. I can add another package of Dream Green bulk flour or another package, let's say of our 007. So again, same thing here. I can see I've got 8,200 available to sell. And I can set that to pounds as well. So let's go ahead and add a pound of the 007 as well. Perfect. Cool. So once I have all of the information for the invoice added, I can go ahead and click create. And at this point, I've got a couple options now. If I scroll to the bottom. So again, we're not pulling that inventory out of our platform yet. That's going to happen whenever we create the transfer and actually ship the product. At this point, we're just promising this as part of this invoice. As you can see, our pounds available has now been updated to reflect the pounds, the 2 pounds of Dream Queen and the 1 pound of 007 that we've done. What this means is if someone else is creating another sales order, they're going to see that only 11 pounds is available for the Dream Queen and only 17 pounds is available of the 007. And that's because we've added them to this order. So at this point, we can go ahead and click create invoice. And let's update the invoice number here. So this is important as well because the way that Canix works, it's going to start at 01 for your first invoice and just go up from there. If you're coming from a previous software or you have your own invoicing methodology, you can update that here with numbers, letters, whatever works for your operation specific to you. You can update that here, and Canix will go in sequential order starting with that first invoice number that you enter. Cool. You can also upload your logo, and that's going to show up in the invoice. And we'll go ahead and select download invoice. So that way we can see what that looks like. So let's go ahead and create it. All right. So you can see we have all of our basic information here, who it's going to, who it should be billed to, the invoice number, sales rep, estimated delivery, payment due date, terms, and then of course the product information as well. Really straightforward invoice. So you can print this off and send it, either attach it to an email if you need to. In addition to that, you can download the PDF like we just did. You can send it via an email, so it'll attach it to an email for you, or you can copy a link. So you can send a link to your customer. They can open it up and see all the information, see that invoice that we created. Okay, so from here, the next step is going to be to allocate the packages. So actually indicate, I've got 2 pounds that I need for this order. Which packages, am I creating a new package for this order? Am I using the existing package? Let me show you what that looks like. So from here, we need 2 pounds for this specific order item. So I'm going to click and back up here. So I'll click the add packages. And you can see I've got a few options. So I've got 4 different packages of this Dream Queen bulk flour. And what I'll need to do is split off from one of these packages, because again, anytime that you take a quantity from an existing package, you're creating a new one. So just like we did before, we're going to split off, and let's go ahead and use this 7.92. So what I'll do from here is select split package. And what we're going to see here is the same exact screen that we used earlier to split off that 100 grams in the active packages screen. What we're seeing, the difference here though is Canix is going to automatically populate the quantity based on what's been added to the invoice. So we had 2 pounds added for that specific order item. And when we went to split, Canix just says, okay, now we're going to create a package of the 2 pounds that you need. And you can see that we have that new tag here, 060. And just like before, we can see the source package. Here's the quantity we started with. Here's the new tag. And here's what's going to be left in that source package. Update that. Cool. And so we'll go ahead and submit that. And so that when we click submit, we're creating that new package. And it's going to bring us back here to our allocation page. And it's going to automatically check that off to allocate to that order item. We can go and click add. So you can see here, we've got the 2 pounds that we ordered, and we have the 2 pounds allocated for that order. Now we can do the same thing with this 007. So we only need a pound in this case. We'll go to add packages. You can see we have quite a few more options here. So let's go ahead and use, let's do first in, first out. Let's choose this one. Actually, it's going to be, yeah, let's do this one. Split package. So same thing as before. You can see super simple. Whenever you click that split package, really all you're doing here is verifying it's correct. You can also update if in some cases, some customers would rather have, some customers prefer certain names over others. So I've seen some operators change the item name in this case. So what you'd be doing there is actually creating a new package with a new item name and just using everything from that original package. So you can select a different item. So if they don't like it being called 007, you could call it something else. You would just create a new package essentially. But we don't need to get that complicated. We can leave it at 007 here. So again, we're confirming 1 pound, my new package tag based on the last available, 061. And we'll go ahead and submit that. Cool. So that's going to be allocated there. And let's go ahead and add that. All right. So now this order is ready to go. And one thing I want to point out, anytime you make changes on this sales order screen, you can see it's going to save automatically. It saves every time you make a change. You type in a field, you allocate a package, it's going to save. So if somehow you get kicked out of the browser, your computer dies, you won't have to worry. It'll be saved. You can always come back and open it up and continue editing. All right. So we've got the invoice created. It's been sent out. Now we've got our packages allocated. It's ready to be shipped. So from here, within the sales order, we can go ahead and create the transfer. All right. So from here, what we can do is, let's see here. So whenever you create the transfer and you have those packages allocated, when you go to create the transfer, it's going to pull up those packages in our dropdown here. Automatically, it's going to pull those allocated packages and associate them with the transfer. So when you're creating a transfer for the first time for a customer, you will need to fill out these fields. What's cool about this though is Canix will remember your selections for this customer. So in this case, the destination facility is going to be associated with the customer. So that's going to populate automatically along with the transfer type based on what's been selected before, the transport facility as well, and then the driver and vehicle. So once that information is selected, once you create the transfer for the first time for that customer, you'll enter that, the driver information, the vehicle information, the transport, and then the next time and every time after that, that information is going to populate automatically. We can always come in here and change it as well. So in this case, let's choose another vehicle here. So you can see we've got a few options. Now, if we need to add a vehicle, we can just select create new vehicle. We'll have a few pieces of information here that we need to fill out, and that's just going to add that information to the dropdown. So we can select it later. The same goes for the driver. So we can create a new driver, driver name, license number, phone number, all that kind of stuff. So we create that. And again, at that point, they'd show up in the dropdown. We can select them. And from there, moving forward, they'll be associated with that customer. Okay, so let's go ahead and choose Toyota Corolla. In addition, the route is always going to be populated. We're using a demo account with an address that's not correct, but typically this is going to show the route from your facility, from the license that's creating it, to the destination facility. It's going to populate automatically for you to use. Perfect. And then we can update the departure and arrival time. And in addition, once we have all that information confirmed, there's also an option to add the pricing to the manifest. It's not required. It's not something that's really standard, but you can add the pricing there if you want to, but it is optional. Okay. So once all that information is filled out, we can go ahead and click create. And we'll confirm that. Perfect. And let's go ahead and download that. So you can see this is a little bit different than the invoice itself. So transfer manifest, specifically, we can see the package tag numbers. So this is important because when transporting, this manifest is going to travel with the product. And if something happens, they need to verify what they have on hand. They can say, here's my manifest, here's this package, here's this package. In addition, you can also track the production batch number associated with that package. You can see the quantity, units, all the necessary information on this manifest. Okay, perfect. So that's packaging. So we went through creating a package from harvest, splitting packages, adjusting packages as needed into sales orders. So creating invoices, including allocating packages and splitting packages within the sales order itself, and then ultimately into creating transfers and sending that product out.